regardless of whether what you want to do in this bill, is that enough? Or should there be more specificity with your own reporting requirements?
Yeah, I think we're not, I mean, just as Bob said, I mean, we want people to know as much about us as possible, you know, and where we get money from. We're starting with this bill because we're, you know, it's kind of the big shiny ball, right, that people look at in terms of, governor race, the Secretary of State race, you know, the top five or six seats in state government. But we're more than willing to have discussions about bringing that back down to state house races. And also, you know, to your point, I think you're right. We should be, you know, on our JLEC reports, which we have to file every year, we should be more specific than just putting numbers, you know, letters down to associate with some range of income. I'm more than happy to, you know, frankly, it's pretty easy for me. Okay, one source of income for the most part is the state rep, and so I'm more than happy to do that. But it seems to me to make a lot of sense.
You modeled it after Florida. Are there any other states with stricter reporting guidelines on?
I don't think so. I know that, as we said in the testimony, I think other states are looking at this. Kentucky, New Jersey, Oklahoma have introduced some stuff. It hasn't gotten on the table yet.
But he slapped the public in the face, not to mention the press, when he gives you a half hour to look at his tax forms for 2008, period. I mean, that's a real slap in the face. You know, if you give someone a half hour and you cannot make copies, but you can try to memorize what you've seen, is an insult to the people here. What is he hiding? And that's what I think, I go right to the heart of this transparency issue. People should know who's financing you, where you got your finances, and what financial Bible you're reading out of. And I think people will make those kind of decisions about electing that person by the background of which they're seeing. But if you're getting half of the story, then you're not getting what's true about that individual. And this will expose all those kind of things that the voters actually should be seeing to make an informed decision about who they want to run state government, who they want as their elected officials.
If I do the math, we have to have this enacted by the end of July. Have any shot at that in terms of candidates held to this?
Correct. I mean, we're going to break, we'll probably break, the General Assembly will break in mid-June, I imagine, and so we need to have it done before then.
Is that realistic?
I'm not sure, Look, I'm not sure. As we say, we have not had discussions with the Senate. We're going to push it as hard as possible on our side of the aisle, our side of the chambers, and we will have discussions with the Senate.
I guess the Senate's not going to like this. That's my guess. So, is it realistic if they're not in favor of it?
And then that means they're not in favor of transparency. So, it seems to me that this is, what would a logical, reasonable answer to this legislation be? You don't care about transparency. You don't care about, kind of building more trust in government. It's not a very solid answer, I guess.
Leadership has indicated that they would make this a priority then, or what's your indication from leadership on making the bill?
I'm not sure.
When it comes through my transportation committee, I'll have to pass it. It's not like that.
There's going to be a lot of competition over the next 3 weeks for bills, but we're going to push as hard as possible to make this a priority.
I've seen bills, by the way. In the 23 years I've been here, I've seen them passed in one day. I've seen them passed in a week, and I've seen my universal health care bill that's been on for 23 years, not go anywhere. So, I've seen the whole gamut of legislation. It depends how interested people are about this, and we want to push it. We're seeing two legislators that are very serious and very concerned and very honest about making sure that we expose all the avenues of which people take to cover up their finances. We're very serious about passing this. Our job now is to convince all of our legislators, and we're realistic too. We know what's going to happen over there in the Senate. We know that they're going to say this is a political ploy, that this is something that you guys are doing to just expose Kasich for the fact that he has ripped off millions of dollars from the middle-class people across the United States. And guess what? Part of it is, but what you're seeing now, two legislators, again, they care enough about making sure that all candidates that are running from this point on have the openness of their finances and show exactly what they're worth. And we can make those decisions on who's influencing what at what level.
Yeah, and I just want to go back to your question. Look, I got this working class, middle class district in Cleveland that, while people aren't, every day coming up to me and saying, geez, that John Kaser's got $500,000 from Lehman Brothers. Oh, look, people are concerned. They're concerned about, and it bothers me, people are concerned about just the competency and the feeling of their elected representatives and how close they are, how they get their problems on West 154th Street or Puritas Avenue. I mean, people care about that. And so I want to make that as clear as possible about, and this is what this legislation does, not just for this year, but for years in the future. Because, look, I care about government. I care about having a strong, stable government. And this is, to have that kind of cynicism out there that exists really bothers me, right? And it doesn't help my kind of political viewpoint about having a strong, stable government go forward in the state of Ohio if there's that amount of cynicism out there. And look, as I said, I got working class, I got a ton of people are laid off who are making $30,000, $40,000 a year. I want to totally exploit the fact that John Kaser's got $500,000 from Lehman Brothers. But I'm sure I'm going to do that. But I want to make sure that that tool is available for every legislature in the next 20, 30, 40, 50, 100 years.